Authorities around the world are also bracing themselves for increased traffic volumes ahead of these Easter weekend. In fact, the National Department of Transport yesterday launched its long weekend road safety plan last year during the hard lockdown, and with heavy restrictions in place, 38 people were killed along South Africa's roads. The road carnage death toll traditionally runs into the hundreds during this period. For more on the plan ahead, let's bring in spokesperson for the Road Traffic Management Corporation, Zwane, who joins us now from one of the busy streets in our country. Zwane, thanks very much for chatting to us. Really appreciate it. Perhaps I should start by getting a sense from what you're able to see where you're at in terms of the volumes on the country's roads already.
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity. We can already see an increased number of vehicles on the roads. Traffic volumes on the N3 leaving Gauteng is already close to 1,500 vehicles an hour. The N1 also towards Limpopo is extremely busy, and the N4 to Mpumalanga. And we want to urge people who are driving to Mpumalanga to really add an extra hour and a half to 2 hours on their travel journey, because there are roadworks on that road from Middleburg up to Machadastop. There are heavy roadworks, and that will cause delays on their travel. So they must plan a delay of another 2 hours, and they should drive with patience, making sure that they take a break after every 2 hours of travel to ensure that they reach their destination safe.
Right. How do we compare this time to this period last year? And this I'm asking because we're still under a kind of lockdown, even if restrictions have been eased.
Well, it's very different. Last year at this time, there were very few cars leaving Gauteng to different destinations because of lockdown, because there were also people were not allowed in the beaches, the churches were not allowed to operate and all of that. So many people didn't travel. But still we experienced accidents, and that would have happened in the townships and built-up areas because they involved pedestrians. We know around this time of the year that a very high number of people who die on the road, close to 48% are pedestrians. And we are worried as today we can see that there are also a high number of pedestrians that are already on the roads trying to hitchhike to their different destinations. This is a very dangerous thing to do, and we urge people not to come to the roads and make other alternative travel arrangements rather than hitchhiking at this time of the year.
Right. So if the number of fatalities are a function of how many cars are on the road, there are probably people predicting that we're likely to see a much higher death toll this Easter period, begging the question, what is RTMC and other officials doing differently to try curb that?
Well, we're doing many things differently. Firstly, we're deploying technology onto the roads to assist our officers in their work. We have mobile testing stations that will test vehicles for roadworthiness. We have vehicles fitted with state-of-the-art technology to identify those who will be driving at high speeds and driving recklessly, and we'll be able to isolate those and prosecute them. And we have deployed officers with body cams, and those will also be able to pick up evidence on the roads and ensure that those who are misbehaving are dealt with. And in that way, we are hoping that there will be a reduction in the numbers of people who are dying on South African roads.
Speak to us a bit more about those body cams, beg your pardon. Are these to assist the motorists, the officers, or both?
This will assist both. Firstly, they will assist the authorities to know where the traffic officers are at any given time. They will assist us to gather evidence and data on travel patterns, but they will also assist us in resolving conflict that normally arises between traffic officers and motorists in their engagement when they're supposed to get traffic fines and all of that. We know in the recent past we have seen incidents of violence against traffic officers. Now with these body cams, that will come. We're hoping that will provide proper evidence that will then assist in investigations that must ensue afterwards. But most importantly, they will assist in curbing incidents of bribery and corruption, because an officer must always have the body cam on when interacting with the motorist. And those who offer them cold drink money will be caught on the body cam, and then they will be dealt with, and there will be evidence that will stand in court.
Right. So if I'm a motorist and I feel, for whatever reason, that footage on a body cam could be beneficial for me because of how a officer has treated me, how do I go about requesting that footage or ensuring that it is available to the courts because of whatever complaint I want to lay against an officer?
Yeah, remember the officer has got a name tag on, so you must take that name tag, the registration number of the vehicles that they are using, and then you can complain to us, and then we can check. We can use that information to check which traffic officer was that, and that information will be made available for prosecution purposes.
All right, Zwane, thanks very much indeed for chatting to us. You know, it almost feels that we have the same conversation every year, but I hope this type of intervention especially will lead to different trends along the country's roads this Easter weekend. Zwane speaking to us there from one of the major roadblocks taking place across the country. Can't tell you where it is for obvious reasons, because you might try to avoid it. But Zwane, thanks very much indeed. He speaks for our TMC.